Favorite smell? I have three favorite smells: gasoline, cut grass, and recently damp pussy. If you are going to sail around the world, what's the name of your boat? Midlife crisis. Because if I'm sailing around the world on a boat, that's what the fuck just happened. If I had to change the name of my father, what would I change it to? Probably ball washing bastard. I think that'd be funny as shit. But that's just me. What is the most amount of people I've ever had on my stream? I think I've capped out at 22 on Twitch, and I've gotten to almost like 40 when on YouTube when YouTube released the YouTube Shorts streaming feature for vertical streams, which honest to God, I thought that was like a pretty, damn good thing that they did. Like obviously like some of the features of it have been a little clunky, but credit where credit's due. It's not fucking bad. If I could switch lives with anyone for a day, who would it be? Um, I would switch lives with Elon Musk so I could then walk into a highly radioactive environment and give him a lethal dose of radiation. And then when I come back to my body, I'm fine, and then he will be dead within, a week or two. What is my favorite candy? I don't know. I'd have to say, while I am fond of like a Three Musketeers or, extreme ropes from Airheads, I will say that personally, I'm more of a pastry guy by and large. Like I love, 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 love pastry to like an almost unhealthy degree. It's then fruit and then candy. But I kind of put chocolate in like it can be pastry, it can be other stuff. I'm not particularly like you know rigorous about the definitions. If I could add anyone to Mount Rushmore, who would it be? Nobody. I would probably get rid of Mount Rushmore because it's so the local tribe there, that's a very sacred mountain, and it is considered. And the fact that Mount Rushmore exists is kind of rough. In fact, the only reason Teddy Roosevelt, despite being one of the better presidents that's on there, is on there is because the guy who made Mount Rushmore, um, added him to the monument to make it more likely for Teddy Roosevelt to grant him the allowance of that to actually fucking happen. So, yeah. You know what's annoying when you forget where you put your vape? I can't relate to that, but Brian and the rest of my roommates can. Brian, one of my viewers just wrote a comment that says, "You know what's annoying when you forget where you put your vape," with a bunch of crying emojis.
Literally. And then it's in couch or it's in the bathroom and you forget about it and then you throw everything on the floor because you turn into a goddamn animal, a berserker, and you're like, where the fuck is my goddamn nicotine device? Where is it? Where is it? And then you finally find it and you take that hit and then you gotta apologize to everybody and be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I turned into a werewolf. I didn't have my brain. Yes,
Nicotine addiction, everybody.
it's very good.
What was my least favorite food as a child? And it maintains to be my least favorite food today. Um, Seafood, broadly. I unfortunately, for some reason, am incapable of eating, consuming, and enjoying seafood. Not for lack of trying, rather. I mean, I was born in Maryland, for Christ's sake, so I'm legally obligated to eat crab, at least a little bit of crab, whenever I'm at a crab feast. Otherwise, the ghosted soul of an old Chesapeake fisherman will come out of the Chesapeake Bay, hunt me down, and shoot me with a giant fucking harpoon. So I am legally obligated to eat crab, but like shrimp, oysters, all kinds of fish. There's just this texture with all of it that I just cannot stand, as well as a issue of um aftertaste. There's an aftertaste on all seafoods that I just can't handle it. I don't know why. Who is my least favorite popular streamer? Fucking Aiden Ross, dude. You fucking kidding me? Dude's a prick. Listen, man, I understand, like, if you like what you like, be my guest. I'm not gonna throw shade, okay? But like at a certain point, like it's a moral imperative to like not let harmful morons be in charge of like any kind of like meaningful entertainment. Because he's not like he's such an Andrew. Like here's the thing: Andrew Tate is terrible, obviously, but he's such a dick rider for like Aiden Ross is such a dick rider for Andrew. Do you remember that fucking clip where he sniffed where Andrew Tate's ass was sitting? It's like at a certain point, like like you can be so hyper masculine that it just comes off as like purely homosexual. I'm sorry. Do I think Twitch will be around in 15 years? If you had asked me that 3 years ago when YouTube started ramping up their live streaming, investment, I would say in 10 years, absolutely. 15, meh, 20, not so much. With the changes in management and stuff that's been going on at Twitch and some of the reprioritization of certain aspects of their business model, I'd say they could probably stretch to, let's say 2025 if they're lucky. Again, like all of this is presuming that they continue to chart the course, right? At the end of like you have to remember that the people that lead these companies are generally not as smart as, they would have you think they are. So it really is going to depend on how the stewardship of Twitch is managed in that time. It could be 5 years, it could be 15 years, it could be 25 years, it could be forever. It really is going to depend on how competent the team at the top leading Twitch is. What is the worst haircut I ever received? Back when I was like a 7 or 8 year old boy, my mother took me to a new place I had never been before. Now, up until this point, I had gone to the same barber shop with my father, who was at the time, and this was the first time I had ever gotten my hair cut at a beauty salon, which is, where my mom took me because that's, your parents takes you to where the fuck you get your hair cut. And so I had never been in this environment before, and the problem with this was I don't know what the fuck my hair was supposed to look like. I was with the hairstylist. She's like, "Oh, so how do you want your hair to look?" And I'm like, and I just start talking about how I think my hair usually looks because, I go to the barber shop. The fucking barber has been cutting my hair since I was a toddler and knows exactly what I get. So I never actually had to know what the fuck my hair was supposed to look like. Like I don't know, like didn't know, like verbally, and I never looked at a fucking mirror, so I had just a general idea of how it was supposed to look. Needless to say, that this woman took my advice, and I ended up looking like a member of Team Galactic with this hair color, full cut and all. It was no bueno. Have I ever been in a band? No, but I was a choir geek in a past life. So for those who like unaware, like choir isn't wasn't I was in a choir and it wasn't like the class where like the fucking people putting kids in classes just dumped them when they didn't have anywhere else to put them, so they didn't get a free period. And it also wasn't a church choir, which is like those are the two relevant things that most people are aware of in regards to, you know, being in a choir. For me, my experience with choir was almost entirely in a almost world class uh method. The Wilmington Children's Chorus, which I was a part of from 26 from I don't even know. I was in for 6 years. Was one of the most formative and impactful experiences of my life, and we were world class. We literally traveled the world and sung. It was uh, I say being in that choir like saved my life, even though the group of friends that I made during that time like completely forsake me except for one person. I have other friends I made. I'm currently living with one of them. It choir is like that experience was so fundamentally important to who I am as a human being that I can't even imagine not being in it, even though I do not sing anymore, nor do I really have any desire to. It's kind of group arts. It's the same thing as like team sports, right? It's like it doesn't have to necessarily be, sports that you do, but like those types of connections that you make with other people are so fundamental and impactful to your development as a human being, and I wouldn't give those up for the world. Would I rather be slightly late or super early? I'm cool being early most times, you know what I mean? Like I find that, being a little bit like I've had to like rely on bus transit for a long time, so it's always been I think it really comes down to the prioritization of the place that you're going to. Like for my old job at JP, I would show up slightly late, because I'm not waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to catch a 7 o'clock bus, so I'm, on time for 8 o'clock. Fuck that noise. I'm gonna show up at 9. It'll be 9:20 because that's when the bus gets through, and I don't want to hear it. Now, granted, there's a reason I don't fucking work there anymore, so I'll owe it up to that, obviously. But functionally, at the end of the day, it's always better to be early. I'm not a firm believer in the you know, early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable, but I'm not so married to it that like I can't contextualize when certain things are okay for that and not. I mean, I've grown up with, people who are routinely late as fuck. No shade, but like let's be so fucking for real, you know. Some of my friends, you know, they let's just say that they do tell me to account for CPT, or what I can say BPT. I shouldn't even be saying that. Let's not be so fucking for real. But that's them's the breaks. Ooh, we got a mob spawner. We got a mob spawner. Let's fucking go. I don't need to do the mob spawn in the cavern anymore. It's all integrated here in Dragonstone. There's some cleanup that obviously has to be done though, so no rush, no worry. Why should I worry? Why should I care? I may not have it down, oh, but I got Streamlabs, my friend. Why do y'all watch me? I'm so fucking schizophrenic. What is the longest I've stayed awake? 78 hours. So back in 2018 back in 2018, I worked at a gas station in Wilmington, Delaware, up the street from where all of the white folks went to go party. And I'm not talking about like the snooty upper class ones. I'm talking about my fellow white trash. And here's the thing about Trolley Square, right? There are 7 bars within a block proximity of this place. It's insanity. And so when all the bars close at 2 a.m., the zombies would come out to play because I worked third shift. I was in there from 11 to 7. And at the time, I was still foolishly trying to be in college and get my degree. Didn't get that degree, by the way. I dropped out because I was working 40 hours a week. And lo and behold, what ended up happening as a result of this is I ended up having a familial obligation the day after work. I had a I had work I had then to go to work, and then go to class, and then I have another thing I had to go to after that, and then go to work again, and then go to class, and then another thing once more because I had to go grocery shopping, and that was an all-day thing, and then I had to go to work again. So I get home at 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, a walking disaster. And I shit you not, I have the fucking photo here of after all of this shit that happened, I was the walking example of a zombie. 2024. God, the amount of fucking TikToks I've made have made this motherfucker incorrigible. I don't know how I ever found anything that was like that. Yeah. All right, so I apologize ahead of time. This was pre-beard Evan before I gained 50 pounds. And look at this was what I looked like after that godforsaken stretch of time. Terrible, right? I look like a creature. Would I go skydiving tomorrow if I had a free ticket? Oh, here's the thing, right? I don't have a fear of heights. I have a fear of not having both my feet stable on the ground. I remember when I was, God, this was when I was like 23, 24. My grandmother, my cousins were in town, and this was when they're still baby faced a little bit. Thomas was in his like awkward 14-year-old stage. So what happened was I my aunt, my grandmother rather, my nana, had us was called me, and I'm living alone in my studio apartment in Wilmington, Delaware. And she's like, Evan, I guess what? The boys are in town, my cousins, and we're gonna take them indoor skydiving. Would you like to come with? And I'm like, sure. I don't think I would want. I'd love to come and spend time with you guys and get out of the house, but I don't think that I would want to do indoor skydiving. She says, well, Owen's gonna do it. Owen being the youngest, and he was, I think, 6 or 7 at the time, like a child. And I said to him, and I said to her, yeah, well, I don't know. Well, it's like you're an adult. Why would you not do it? And I'm just like, all right. Like I love my nana and I love my poppy, like my grandfather too. But I'll give them, but they are like small C conservatives, very much like have traditional ideas of like how you're supposed to behave as an adult, things of that nature. And well, so I'm just like, fine, I'll do it because obviously she was not going to take no as an answer. And so we go, and I'm like dreading it. I sit through the class. I'm like, I don't want to do this. And what pisses me off is that there was this gorgeous black woman sitting right next to me, my age, and I'm just like, damn, I'm about to look like a whole ass bitch in front of this gorgeous woman. And that's exactly what happened. I get on, I do it, I panic and start flailing, try and get the fuck out. The fucking instructor gets my, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm about to fight this man over a pit with a giant fan in it, with nothing between you and certain death but a net. And at this point, I get the fuck out. I go sit down. I go disrobe, get off out of the fucking gear. And my aunt's like, "What the fuck? What's wrong with you? Like, why? Like, why did? Like, what was the issue?" I was like, "I like both feet. I don't like having both of my feet not on the ground." She's like, "You've been on a plane," and I'm like, "That doesn't count. Both my feet are stable. Like, I'm like a cat. Like, I need to have my feet stable for me to like be okay with it." And as we were leaving, like the instructor was like out having a smoke break, mean mugging the fuck out of me. And like my grandmother and grandfather are just patently disappointed with me for like the rest of the time we spent together, and I never got invited to another thing like that again. So yeah, them's the breaks. What is the best advice I would give to a new streamer? I would say two things. First of all, you need to remember that until you are making like money off of streaming to be able to pay all your bills twofold, this is a hobby. Like, unless you have the time, like I do currently, to like pursue it like relatively full time, and even then, like the moment I get to Orlando, like it's a wrap. I'm going straight back to shift work to get these damn bills paid. Um, you need to remember that fundamentally, at the end of the day, The way you're going to grow and be a successful streamer is two, maybe three things. The first is consistency. You don't have to be the highest quality. You don't need to even be on camera. You don't need to have the highest quality mic, but you need to be consistent. And I struggle with this too. You need to be live at the same time every day. You need to be live for, a consistent amount of time, preferably 3 to 4 hours. And you need to be consistent so people can incorporate you in their schedule. The second thing is you need to pursue fun. Not necessarily fun for the viewer. You need to pursue fun for you because you're going to be doing this for hours and hours and hours at a time. Especially if you are actively engaging with chat and doing things of that nature, you need to keep the variety up for you of different things so you don't get burned out. The people like the YouTubers and stuff that are getting burned out now, they've been doing this shit for 20 years, 10, 20 years. They have they're stacked. This is how they pay their bills, and they're burned out. If you get burned out before you even make anything of it, it defeats you're dead on arrival. And the third is you need to focus on community. And so when I say that is that once you get like access to channel points or extension or use certain extensions, utilize them to the best of your ability. The more ways for like you chatting with people and like set up like routine bots with things like Streamlabs or Stream Elements, you know, give access to chat commands, things of that nature, the more access your community has to interact with the content you create, and having things like a Discord so you can interact with them offline is really important. So it's consistency, fun, community engagement. Those are the three main things that I would highly recommend.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to talk to me outside of this video, outside of live streams, or just join the community and be a part of it, you can do so at HIMediaTV/Discord. Discord links there. We'd love to have you. And given the financial situation of the economy right now, I know this is a tall ask, but if you have the scratch to spare, please consider donating and becoming a supporter at HIMedia.gg/tip. All of our perks are serviced through our Discord channel, including early access videos, exclusive videos, and more. Your generosity is a blessing, and $1 a month is a boon to my mental health. Thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate you, and have a great day.